So I decided I would join in the craze and make some face masks. So here's a little tutorial on how I did that. I used a pattern from our local hospital recommended that we use, and I'll link it in the description down below. So let's jump in here and I'll just kind of show you a time-lapse of what I did for everything with a little voiceover, maybe. So the first step was to cut the elastic. You need 2 pieces for each mask. They should be 7 inches apiece. So I just used some scrap elastic and cut as many as I could. And then cut out my fabric. I double layered the fabric so I could get 2 pieces at once. And you cut it 6 inches by 9 inches in a rectangle. I cut several, and by several I mean enough to make 12 masks, so that's all the elastic that I had. And then of course I had to get my sewing machine set up. Just wind some bobbins because I never have them ready when I need them, and get my machine all threaded and ready to go. And then I left this in here to show you that following the directions the way they were written, they were kind of misleading, and it really didn't work. It said to sew to the corner and then add your elastic, and then you tack it in the one corner and then spin around and take it to the other corner. When I did and flipped it inside out, the elastic was only inside, which was not going to work, so I had to reconfigure this then. What I did was I sandwiched the elastic in between the 2 pieces. So put the fabric right sides together, the elastic in between the 2, and then pin it at each corner. And then when you sewed, and then you turn it right side out, then it is where it should be, so you can actually use the elastic to wear the mask. So you do your sewing basically the way it says in the instructions. You start kind of the middle of the long side, sew down to the corner. I backstitched a few times on the corners to kind of keep the elastic secure there. Then on around, as you come around the side with the elastic on it, you kind of have to shove the elastic out of the way so you don't catch it in the seam. And you just sew all the way around, kind of stopping and leaving like a 2-inch gap on the one side so that you can use that hole to turn your mask right side out when you're done. And then once the mask is turned right side out, you'll see the elastic is there on the outside. And then I just pinned the hole closed at the top. And the next step is to make a few pleats in the mask. So I kind of just eyeballed it, folded up one pleat, pinned it in place, and folded up the next pleat. Pin that in place too. And then what you're going to do is you're going to sew around the entire perimeter of the mask as close to the edge as you can. That will close up the hole at the top, and then it will also tack your pleats in place. And then I just assembly line made as many as I could with my scrap fabric. Now, the fabric that it calls for should be some kind of a quilting cotton is what they ask for in the pattern. I just used whatever scrap fabric that I had left over. So, yeah, that's it basically. Not too difficult to do. It took a little longer than the 10 minutes that the pattern said that it was going to take, but once I got into a rhythm of making them, it wasn't too bad. Now, I did make these with different fabric on each side so that they could be reversible, so whoever was wearing it could decide which color they wanted to show that day. Now, of course, if you're going to reverse it, make sure you sanitize both sides before you put it on your face, else it kind of defeats the purpose if you're blocking out germs on one side and then flipping it over and putting them directly against your face. So make sure that, you wash and sanitize these things. One little thing I wanted to note that I found while doing these, I did find it after a while a little tedious to sandwich the elastic in between the 2 layers of fabric. It just got cumbersome, and it looks better to do it that way, but I decided that speed was better than aesthetics in this case, and I decided that I would just, in the later ones that I did, I'll show you one here, I just attached the elastic after I had it all done. I attached the elastic to the outside of the thing. It still serves the same purpose, same function. It just doesn't look quite as neat and finished as the other one does. But when you're making a bunch of these on an assembly line, you want to go as fast as you possibly can. So I also found it a little easier to make the sew all the way around the square, flip it inside out, and then sew completely around that, and then make my pleats before I added the elastic, because I found the elastic got in the way of sewing the pleats. And when it got in the way, then I ended up sewing the pleat a little bit too far out, which made it harder to open up. So sew completely around, make your pleats, tack those down, and then add your elastic as like the very final step of the whole thing. So anyway, I hope that helps. I hope you guys are all staying safe and using your social distancing guidelines, and everybody is healthy. And that's all I've got, so I will see you all later.